Everyone has to do.
Oh, Draven is still open.
Draven's still open, that is for sure. Other side, Ziggs was taken away by Fnatic. We talked about how well Kerp has done overall with the Ziggs. Their last two games, in fact, playing Ziggs and ending with positive score ratios. Actually against Rockout a little bit better than against SK Gaming, where he went 5-2-5. And what are Fnatic going to ban out finally? Aatrox actually taken away from Kevin, and that's another one that he performed brilliantly with against Rockout. 2-1-7. Not the biggest, most impressive score, but the way he played the Aatrox was brilliant.
And I actually feel like they are forcing to ban it because the Renekton ban from Millenium side. One of the champs who can deal with Aatrox is Renekton early, so Millenium taking that away, showing more or less we want something like an Aatrox, and the Fnatic just responds, bans it away. Left LeBlanc open, take it away from xPeke, put it onto Kerp, who absolutely loves the player.
What will Peke be reacting with? Something like Gragas possibly, get a lot of farm in this mid lane and have a bit more control when it comes to team fights?
Gragas is an option. Orianna is normally the go-to pick because you have your shield in the laning phase. You can also bring barrier. It also works fairly well with something like a Trundle, who can go into the middle of the team, have the ball on him, and you pop the ultimate. But they don't have this like direct jump in if we see the Orianna later on. But I like the fact they're actually considering Trundle because it's been one of the main champions for Kevin. Renekton is already gone. Aatrox is gone. We can possibly see him play Shen. He's played it in the past. We can see something like a Jax being brought up by him. But in general, very smart pickup. And also, you get the leads onto Cyanide. Such a strong jungler.
And those are the two picks that will be locked in. Trundle Elise for Fnatic. On the other side, Araneae.
Always Teemo.
In his penguin costume. In the end, actually switches out Teemo, surprisingly enough, for Lee Sin, and also Lucian picked up here for Creaton.
So we get very standard junglers. It did show though that Fnatic actually prefer Elise over Lee Sin for Cyanide here, but generally Millenium had the respawn ready. Lee Sin is one of the best to deal with this early game power Elise can bring. And also the Lucian, we've seen Creaton on it before, he's so good. And it's also it's both strong in lane, it scales well into the late game. Generally Lucian, he just brings everything you want in an AD carry.
So other side, currently hovering over Nidalee possibly here for Fnatic. And let's think back to the last time that was played, was in their win against Gambit. 5-0-6. You had those magnetic spears that were connecting onto everyone.
And that was the game where Fnatic didn't give up a single kill. They had the Lulu on sOAZ, they had the Nidalee, and just poked away. They got ahead early on, and now with Caitlyn as well. The amount of poke you can bring with this combo, if Fnatic gets ahead early on, can really make things hard for Millenium. Because also, we haven't obviously seen the last two picks, but the first three, you don't really have any direct hard engage, so you're going to have to rely on Kerp getting a pick somewhere, or Araneae obviously hitting his Q, kicking someone into his own team.
So, we see a Thresh paired actually over the other side there for Fnatic. And maybe more importantly, what is Jree going to go for? Because he's actually the support that's really, I'd say, along with Edward, if you look at their past games, bringing out something a little bit different. Zilean is already brought to the table. A win against SK, actually, the time that he brought that one out. Also played the likes of Morgana and more standard stuff as well.
And he needs to pick some engage in some kind of form. He needs to have engage for the team so he can land now the ultimate, and then Araneae can follow, Kerp can follow, and of course, if the login is Jax, jump in there, you have your counter strike, stun everyone around you, and it's very, very strong combo if they can land the ultimate from Jree. So there's going to be a lot of things relying on him now to start the team fights, especially against something like a Nidalee. You don't want to delay going in and getting hit by these spears.
So Lucian, Leona versus Caitlyn and something. What would you go in there with that something? Would it be the Thresh that's still open?
Morgana is also open. Morgana would be a perfect pick for them here to simply stop the engage. And also something, yeah, already locked in, don't even have to keep going there. Morgana, the perfect pick against Leona. Black Shield stops all her CC when she's trying to engage. And it's what Fnatic need here. This poke combo, if they manage to get a good early game, if they manage to get into this mid game where they can start setting up dragons, setting up blue buffs, setting up maybe even a siege in the mid lane, and then just have Morgana ready with the Black Shield to stop any form of engage coming out of Jree, they can more or less just poke them down and just rely on never actually team fighting.
See, the spirit in the Millenium camp is actually pretty high right now. I mean, let's face it, they're coming off the back of a win against the first place, or what were then the first place team, as they're sat in last position. Something to celebrate for Millenium, but they are searching for their first back-to-back wins of the season. They've been able to win games, of course, but they've never put more than one on the board in a row.
And now's a good time. The combo-wise again, You need Jax to get going, you need obviously Kerp to get going, so he can roam around, set up some kills. Nidalee will bring barrier most likely, so it will be hard for him to kill him. But the other way around, Nidalee can kill LeBlanc.
We'll see about that one here. Once again, you make the calls when it comes to the voting just before the game. Over on LOLesports.com, you voted for Fnatic here. It's not a surprise to me, I have to say. 81%, a big number though, coming into think that Fnatic are going to win it.
But both teams have been playing really well, so it's fairly even matchup, at least in my opinion. We need to see more consistent performance for both teams before we can actually say which one is the direct favorite.
Oh, an important one for both teams as well because, well, a back-to-back win is what they're both searching for in this one. Obviously, Millenium taking down Rockout. The Super Hot crew fell victim to Fnatic just a little bit earlier on today. And we've got more games coming your way tomorrow. Don't forget, 5 more, in fact, we'll be finishing off Super Week with. But either way, we are going to get into game for this one. It is, of course, Millenium taking on Fnatic for back-to-back victories here. One team, though, is going to have to go home empty-handed, at least for tonight.
And actually, both teams completely same items, nothing different here. Millenium doing the standard tactic for them where they move 5 people together. Want to maybe go in and look a little bit into Fnatic's jungle, see if they can catch someone out. They need to be careful, though, because the binding from Morgana is a very hard thing to deal with at level 1.
This is interesting again. Millenium are level 1 team. They do stuff at level 1.
And they're actually expecting Fnatic to group up as 5, go down here with the team, and then have Morgana shoot the binding over the wall into here, hit the Jax, and then they run as the entire team trying to kill him, and then Millenium are just sitting ready to punish them.
Not happening though.
He's even baiting it out.
Not happening from this time around. Kevin is showing himself down there, and they're maybe thinking, okay, top laner's down there. Why would he be doing that? Probably trying to bait us into that brush. So let's not go in there. Let's not do that. And now Millenium move across the top side of the map. No vision, of course, for either side at this point of the game. Those trinkets still got 30 seconds, or less than 30 seconds by now, until they can be used. And there is the first Dark Binding thrown out by YellOwStaR, pretty blindly off towards Jree, not connecting. And as soon as those wards do start to go down, YellOwStaR needs to be a little bit careful here.
So Millenium actually waiting around for him to put down the ward so they can kill it, but YellOwStaR, he just going in, poking a few times, backing off. He probably expected more of Millenium to be around.
And he was a little bit wrong on that one. Better safe than sorry, though, I think is the way to go on that. And after all that tense level 1 action, both teams just settle off into their early game with the duos lining up in the bottom lane, and both junglers actually starting on their red buffs. Interestingly enough, though, that's going to mean Araneae going a little bit lower from this one as he's got no help.
But again, that's the thing you need to do with your bot lane. It has to be in the lane at 155. Otherwise, the other bot lane can just push you down early, get the level 2, and then you're in big trouble. And we already see Jree taking quite some poke here early on. Doing a very good job from YellOwStaR to zoning them away from XP.
And there is a point-blank range. Dark Shield? Wow. Dark Binding, a Dark Shield, a Black Shield. You know where I'm trying to go with that one. Good shot from Creaton. And onto Creaton. Wow, Martin, take it away.
Yeah, so we actually have the barrier on to Peke, so we're going to see this more farm-based mid lane. We can see, though, if LeBlanc or Kerp wants to focus on shoving out the lane and then try and roam elsewhere. Because when you have Lee Sin, when you have Leona, you can set up ganks in the bot lane as long as the Black Shield is not ready from YellOwStaR. If they can bait this one out, then land the CC, have Araneae joining in. We've actually seen them do this before with Leona, actually, and then get a lot of kills in the bot lane.
A bit of poke coming in there as well from Rekkles. There is another Dark Binding landing. An auto attack from Rekkles. Let's get his passive up as well, but decides to throw that onto the farm at this point. But look how far he's got ahead, 15-4 in the early stage of this game. We talk about how Fnatic's bottom lane, even throughout all those losses, was the one stable thing for them. The only time that didn't really happen was against the Copenhagen Wolves, where, of course, Forgiven out-farmed Rekkles monstrously. But this time around, Rekkles doing great, and there is the danger of the LeBlanc. Peke down to half HP.
And the key thing in the Copenhagen Wolves game for the bot lane was the fact they actually didn't get the level 2 early on. Copenhagen Wolves did, and now Araneae got very aggressive.
Takes a turret hit for it as well. xPeke already back far enough where that wasn't going to be too much of an issue for him. Actually, down in the bottom lane, Rekkles did get very, very low there. Jree obviously going in onto him from that one. So Millenium are trying to wrestle a bit of control back in this bottom lane.
He did have his health pod running now, and he's going to regain quite a lot from this. Jree, if he can land the all in, they do have a lot of damage with this combo. Lucian can come in, get the double auto attack onto Rekkles, and then back off, and then he's going again.
And they are going to go in, but there is that shield once again, and Jree a little bit too far forward from this one. Actually, Dark Binding lands. There's the pilt over Peacemaker as well. Jree going to get a lot of damage onto him. Creaton's going for Rekkles here. He's got to get inside of the brush. There is the barrier baited out. Can they put any kill down? There is the Dark Binding, and then the Zenith Blade land. Everyone's ridiculously low.
They got it.
Flash! Creaton used the barrier! Chaos!
Oh, they got him!
Last tick of Ignite!
Cyanide's there!
Spider's coming, Cyanide moving in from this one, he's going to repel, going for Creaton, gets stunned up, Cocoon lands onto Creaton, the Spider will finish off, mental!
So let's just break down what just happened. First of all, Jree engages onto Rekkles, Black Shield is there, so he goes on to YellOwStaR instead, actually gets hit by the binding, a lot of damage onto him, but then Creaton just goes full man mode into the face of Rekkles, pops his barrier, and in the end they actually switch it around to Morgana, pick up the kill, but Cyanide, he was running from the start of the fight all the way down to bot.
And Cyanide, that's right, sOAZ, being the troll that is Trundle up there and just sidesteps the Q out of Araneae. Very much action-packed start to this one. That's what we like to see. Teams tied on kills and pretty much tied on gold as well. sOAZ actually did just recall, coming back in, and he's doing the new Trundle thing, where he goes with that Doran shield, Doran's blade, ×2.
And it's just lane dominance. Freddy used to do it on Renekton with Wicked Execution first, but now Araneae on top.
This could be really dangerous for sOAZ. The Q is already connected. That means he can follow him through, but here comes Cyanide going for the counter gank. Araneae has to flash away. Repel comes in. Araneae dashes off to the minion. Stays alive from that, but that was very touch and go.
But look actually how tanky sOAZ is with these early items, with pure lane dominance, Doran's blades, and the Doran shield. Gives so much control, gives HP early on, and also some good damage in the actual fights. And Cyanide, he's been doing work early on. First he went down bot, got a counter kill, and also now he went top. Predicted actually Araneae would be around, and then stopped him.
He's on his player cam how happy he is that he didn't die to the white and became basically a laughing stock of a few people for quite a while, if that would have actually happened. I was watching his health bar, basically he couldn't see the green anymore on that one. Very, very close stuff from Araneae, but he got it, and that's what he was aiming for. All good. This bottom lane though, we touched earlier on the CS difference. That's not really changed here, 44 to 28. Big lead for Fnatic.
Fnatic are doing a great job with the fact they're actually just staying back here, farming, and every time Millenium wants to engage, there's a Black Shield, the risk of being binded. So Rekkles, he's just farming away very safely. And obviously we also have Millenium, who had to back off because Cyanide came down after the big fight. But Rekkles, he had recalled before that and got down to lane earlier than Creaton again.
One thing that's going to be hard in that mid lane is how do you lock down a LeBlanc? How do you hit a spear in a 1v1 scenario? Of course he does it just as I say that, but that's because he already uses distortion, so it's going to be hard to do that. And when a cocoon comes in, if you've still got it up, you're going to dodge it.
Well, unless you can actually predict the jump, fire the cocoon there, land it. But generally speaking, xPeke doesn't want to go for any kills here. He wants to farm. He wants to get a few early items. He wants to survive the laning phase. That's why he brought the barrier. And then when you get to the mid game, he can really start landing the spears. Just like we always see with Nidalee. If they survive the laning phase, if they get through the mid game, they really start hurting on the spears. And in the end, as long as you get hit by one, you can really team fight.
Now both power pretty off the scale when it gets towards the later stages of the matchup. We're almost 8 minutes into this one, and despite that craziness down in the bottom lane earlier on to leave us at 1 kill apiece, it's quietened down somewhat. We did see a good binding landing onto Creaton behind the tower, followed up by a nice pilt over Peacemaker, but he has got that all back. Vamp Scepter now for both of these AD carries gives them a little bit more stayability in that bottom lane.
And it seems for now both of them are happy just farming away. Both combos work really well in the late game when it comes to the team fights. Morgana is so good at counter engaging, and obviously you have Leona to start the fights, so both of them seem happy just farming away.
Spear hit the wrong target there.
Did you just say fail?
I did say fail, yes. I did. I'm allowed to say that every now and again. I don't say it often when it comes to Peke, that's for sure. But he gets it in the end, jumps over. Froggen did also miss a jump over the wall with Nidalee earlier on, so you know that's all been now evened out across the board. All good for us. Rekkles and YellOwStaR continue though to pile on this pressure down the bottom lane. Cyanide starts to come around. It's like, well, we've got all the pressure on the bottom side of the map. We've got Nidalee here to keep LeBlanc away. We're going to start Dragon.
This is a bit risky though because Araneae was actually bot, but due to the fact that he got the ward down so late. Will he try and get it?
Oh no, they won't. Fnatic pick that one up, but Cyanide gonna get destroyed at the backside. Araneae will fall. Araneae did get the kill. Rekkles and Creaton now facing off. Kerp's off to the side. His cooldowns are gonna come off. Oh, Solar Flare was just flashed away from there by Rekkles. In the end, 1 for 1, and the Dragon, oh, that's a big hit with the spear. He's gonna keep chasing. He's got vision on him now. Is he gonna be able to land the spear? Nice work there from Kerp to block it.
So it's actually a very risky Dragon from Fnatic because Araneae was around the spot lane area, so there were 4 members from Millenium, but simply due to Cyanide starting it before there was any vision from Millenium, he got it down to 50%. Rest of Fnatic came in, killed it, and yes, they did lose 1 member, but it was still worth it.
Why is YellOwStaR there right now? I was just about to say, what is he? Why?
I actually think he ran all the way from the mid lane, then he took the wrong way around the Dragon, trying to go down to bot lane, just got spotted out, and now actually gave up a very easy kill to Millenium.
Free kill. Absolute freebie for Millenium. Puts them ahead in the kills again, and they're only 100 gold behind. Let's have a look at some of the CS levels here though. Top lane, pretty much bang on even. Mid lane, slight deficit for Kerp, but you'd expect that here with Peke able to shove things out, and he's got that double buff on now, by the way.
Yeah, Kerp was actually ahead before this whole Dragon thing started, but then Peke, he managed to get the wave shot pushed out, and then he actually moved all the way down to the Dragon and joined it, and Kerp, he had to move the long way around the race, so he lost a lot of CS, and then he stayed around for the kill onto Morgana. That's why he didn't return to the lane, and Peke actually got a slight, kinder a CS lead.
Bottom lane remains a problem though for Millenium. 84 CS, 85 to 68 of Creatons there. Both of them though at the same level in terms of itemization at this point of things, and we're actually going to see the Solar Flare coming in. Black Shield will keep him healthy though. Rekkles actually having no mana by the time that all went down, and Millenium trying to wrestle back some control of this bottom lane.
But we saw the power of the Black Shield, and that's going to be the same throughout the entire game. Every single time Jree wants to engage on a target, the Black Shield is going to be there, blocking the CC from him. He might be going into the fight, but if he doesn't stun anything, he won't really do anything as Leona.
Kevin and sOAZ again, just butting heads on that front. We can see that Kevin actually got himself already that Cutlass, going to do a good bit of damage here to sOAZ, but he's going to be drawn out. Surprise! The spider pops up. Cyanide picks up the kill.
And once again, Araneae was actually in the area, but because it's Fnatic who starts the ganks, they're on the start of the Dragon, they get the kill from here, and they get the advantage simply by Cyanide being 1 step ahead of Araneae once again.
What are they going to do here? Do they want to have a go at that turret? They were just waiting for the minions to actually finally go through, and they are going to throw things in. Araneae forced to flash away from that one. He's landed the Q on sOAZ. sOAZ for me is tanky enough to not even care about that one, and this may just well be the turret going down. It will be. Look how fast that goes down. That will be the first turret of the game going over to Fnatic.
Very nice play. Once again, Cyanide is part of everything in this early game for Fnatic. He's been really impressive lately. And one thing we need to keep an eye on is obviously the Jax Trundle matchup later on, because Jax, with his ultimate, he gets extra armor and MR, but that's stuff for sOAZ to actually steal away. But then again, damage-wise, you want to have the Jax late game. When he gets the Trinity Force, when you get the Blade of the Rune King, he's going to be able to do so much damage, and instead, sOAZ is going to be a lot more tanky, a lot more harder to kill, but not have the same damage output.
Unless you kill that Jax before he can get on that front. We'll see how that all pans out. For now, Fnatic are in the lead, albeit slimly in terms of goal, but after 12 minutes, probably a total that they'd be happy with seeing on their side. They're leading in CS in the top lane, in the middle, and with the AD carries as well by a decent margin. So all going to plan so far. Everything
working for them. They have the poke combo. We talked about in Champs League how if they get to this mid-game point where they can really start poking away with the Nidalee, obviously also with the Caitlyn, it's going to be very hard for Millenium to do anything unless they can actually catch Fnatic out. And again, that's where the Morgana pick is going to be annoying for them to deal with.
Get the shield on the right person.
Of course, if you do.
I'll see about that one. So far, YellOwStaR has been caught out of position, but that was obviously just a bit of a foresight where he just said, okay, I'm kind of dead right now. They're closing in from all 3 sides. No real escape from me. So that doesn't happen again. Here's another blue buff going to go over on towards Peke for that mid lane against Kerp.
We actually have to touch on the bot lane. Creaton is pulling back in CS at the moment. We see Rekkles and YellOwStaR staying far back because they are a bit afraid of the all-in engage and also possibly the roam for someone like Kerp. Talking about roam, Peke is actually going down towards the spot lane.
And Millenium spotted it early enough. They've got a ward in the death bush on the bottom side of the river, so they saw Peke starting to work his way in there and decided You know what? We're just going to be backing off. Meanwhile, sOAZ here in this top lane going to be coming under a lot of pressure. Loses a lot of health, goes down in the end, and now they're going on towards Rekkles in the bottom lane. YellOwStaR going to ulti. The Cologne comes out. Creaton gets stunned up, uses the barrier and the flash to get away.
Whoa.
But YellOwStaR flashes in, lands the binding. They get the kill. Rekkles has to use his barrier, flashes to the backside. He's going to go down. Is he? No!
Wow.
He's not. He stays alive, barely there, and picks up a double kill.
Absolutely beautifully played by the Fnatic bot lane. YellOwStaR, he flashed next to Creaton, away from Jree, so he could land the binding. Rekkles, he followed up, and then he managed to stay alive, even though Jree went back onto him. He had the barrier, managed to kill him as well, and that was just absolutely fantastic by the Fnatic bot lane.
Sick stuff as Kevin here is going to be pressured now. Enemy side of the jungle. Good spear actually from xPeke landing, but xPeke needs to be careful not to go too far in. Kerp is there, but he is going to have to go through traps if he wants to try and get onto xPeke. And look at the dragon timer, 3 seconds. Fnatic are there with 3. Surely nothing Millenium can do.
No, and it's absolutely perfect timing for them with the kills they got in bot lane. You see, Millenium is trying to come in here, but they had to put down a ward. Almost down. Can Araneae try and steal it?
Well, he's going to go in, but he doesn't get it. And now he's going to get locked up as well. Goes back off to the back though with Jree, and that's the beauty of that mobility. But how far is he going to get? Spear lands. Not enough damage though.
Second time, we actually have Cyanide managing to get the dragon, even though Araneae jumped in to get it. So he's really using this release with the execute on her Q and the smite to get these dragons. Very nice job by him. And Fnatic in general looking very good this early game.
Cyanide is a pretty good smiter. We've seen that
very
time
good.
and time again, stealing dragons and barons for that matter for Fnatic. They take their third and final outer turret. So that outer ring all gone. You can only imagine that Fnatic are going to start the vision war now. Get that vision down so that they can hit their poke.
Just as you say that, we have 2 wards being picked up. We have the Sidestone and a ping ward onto YellOwStaR. A lot of vision they can get down. 2 sweeping lenses only, so they're not going to deny as much because they have obviously the 3 trinket wards. A few extra wards here. If they get in some good vision into the jungle of Millenium, they can more or less prevent any gank and also any roam from Kerp without at least spotting him out and having a chance to back off.
Araneae headed toward the top lane. I'm afraid though they're not going to get anything there because the wards that Fnatic have got down have already spotted people coming up, and we actually see that Cyanide is pushing through with sOAZ. There was Kerp just dodging around the side of a spear. They kind of had vision of each other. And we actually saw Kevin recall in there as well from that top lane, meaning that sOAZ can push it out further. Oh, he's going to go in onto him as well. All the damage coming in. DFG already used. There's the lockup. Solar Flare used as well. Kerp picks up a much needed kill for himself.
And that's where we see the very scary damage from LeBlanc with an early DFG, popping it, full combo. Obviously Jree was there to provide some CC after the chains had popped. It's a very nice play by Kerp. This is what Millenium need. They need him to be so strong that he can just dual xPeke every time and then go to other lanes, help them out, pick up some kills. Because someone like Rekkles, he's very squishy at the moment. If Kerp gets to him with the DFG, he will die as well.
There's that vision wall starting. Ooh. Talisman pop from YellOwStaR, and I think actually using that item there just got him out of range of that Q of Araneae. Probably got enough to do a lot of damage, if not have a good go at actually taking him out from things. We've come back to that more slower pace now as the lanes get pushed in and out by both teams. Actually, Creaton down the bottom, freezing up that lane. He doesn't want to be pushing it back and basically gifting free farm to Rekkles.
But when you freeze one lane, it opens up for Fnatic to rotate to a different one. This time around though, Rekkles, he has a lot of gold. He wants to go back and shop. That's why he's not pushing down the lane more than he already did. But xPeke, he's been doing such a good job farming after the first dragon fight. When he actually got the lead, he's been doing really well, keeping. Yes, he died to Kerp, but he's at least been keeping even in CS, which is a very important thing for him as Nidalee.
I'll look down some of the items picked up here recently as well. Blade of the Ruined King for Jax levels him up with Trundle on that front. In the jungle, we actually saw the Haunting Guys for Cyanide. So we're going to have a lot of Magic Pen at this point with those Sorcerer Shoes as well.
We often see this from Elise when she gets a good start. Get the early Magic Pen items, you have a lot of single target burst if you catch someone out. So it's a very smart item build, and from here on he can just go tank because he has the extra gold due to the 2 kills and also the 2 dragons he secured by himself for Fnatic.
Back to the team like Kerp, taking a couple of spears, none that have been too life-threatening, and we see with that DFG was able to blow xPeke up with a little bit of help from Jree just to make sure that xPeke didn't leap out of things, and now actually they're going to go in towards Rekkles, who's trying his best to get behind his turret, dodges most of it, but actually Jree managing to land a lot. Rekkles here is surely going to go down. Creaton finishes off. It's a nice pick, but now the rest of Fnatic coming down. They pop the talisman. Spear lands onto Jree. They're going to go for Creaton and for Jree, and they're going to get them both.
Very nice roam for Fnatic. As soon as they saw Rekkles was about to go down, they moved from this mid lane, popped the talisman that YellOwStaR has picked up very early on, and just got them there in time. 2 kills. Meanwhile though, Millenium, 2 people pushing the mid lane. Will Peke try and stop this one, or at least will he be able to?
They've spotted him coming out, and Peke knows that he probably has to be a little bit careful, or does he? Rest of his team is coming up here through the Millenium jungle. No outer turrets there for Millenium, mean that they have to retreat a little bit sooner than they normally would have.
And we just have to touch on the Rekkles death before. He didn't have his flash. It's ready now, but just when it actually happened, it wasn't ready. That's why he used the E first, and Jree just delayed his ultimate, popped it later on, and then he went in for the kill.
Just diving forward actually, but there we see that shield soaking up all the damage, and actually it's Kerp who will have to back away, tail between legs on now, and Araneae goes deep. They get away from him. Aranea's not escaping this. Ace in the hole, blocked by Jree, but they get the kill anyway, and now Jree gonna be chased down. Cocoon, spear, double kill for Cyanide. Kevin's there, but Kevin's gonna die as well. Horrible stuff from Millenium. Now Kerp comes back in. He does manage to blow up xPeke, that's his name, and they get the inner turret here.
But wow, Fnatic once again with the counter engage. Araneae actually tried to get onto them and kick xPeke into the team. He just flashed it, nothing Araneae could do. He got caught out then, bursted down instantly, and then the rest of Millenium actually tried to help, died as well, and meanwhile, sOAZ just stayed in the top lane, pushing down the wave.
This is going pretty badly, pretty quickly for Millenium. Look at the gold now. Almost 10,000 the difference. 5-0 in turrets. And against this combo, who, you know, it's great for poking, but it's great for defending turrets as well. It's hard to really be pushing into them.
Defending turrets, counter-engaging against this very all-in combo from Millenium. Black Shield, you have the binding, as we saw before, you have the cocoon when someone jumps in. And also, you have a 5-1-2 Elise at the moment who's going towards the Randuins. Cyanide, he's really doing work. Now he's being caught out.
Go all on to him. Where's the repel from Cyanide? He gets kicked back. Gonna go up, gonna go back the other way. And he's actually gonna escape it. Peke now coming in. Cyanide lives, losing only half of his health. Dragon is up. Binding won't land as the Tormented Soil goes in as well. Are they gonna kick off the Dragon? Trundle's not there, but he's got teleport. Caitlyn's walking down. They need to wait until Rekkles is here. They're doing it with the poke damage. Half HP on the Dragon. Cyanide gonna go in for it. Can he get the Dragon himself? Let's see. Creaton has taken out Peke. Cyanide did get the Dragon. The Smite Master strikes again. Jree is low. He's gonna have to flash off the back. And now YellOwStaR gonna stun up Kevin. Kerp doing a good job here, but Creaton's gonna lose his life. That's another one for Rekkles. In the end, 2 for 2, but the steal on the Dragon from Fnatic.
Simply due to the fact that Cyanide once again stole the Dragon. It's worth it for Fnatic. 2 for 2. Peke, he did get too far in. He got caught out actually. A lot of people just collapsed onto him, killed him instantly, but then the rest of Fnatic joined in. We had the teleport from sOAZ coming down. Notice here in the replay. Notice position from Peke. He's getting a little bit too close. He wanna land some poke, but Kevin goes on to him. Joined in by the rest of Millenium, instant taking him down. Meanwhile though, Cyanide getting the Dragon, and then you actually see Kerp zoned away by sOAZ. Really well done by him, and then the rest of Fnatic can just try and get up 2 kills before Elise sadly dies, and actually gives over the shutdown.
Let's see Kerp just hanging on the edge there, trying to pretty much finish off anyone that went low in that whole mess in the Dragon Pit, and trying to escape back off. He's now got a Void Staff added into his DFG. 3-0-2 Fnatic needs to be a bit careful about him.
That's the thing, Kerp has really been doing a good job while he is winning the lane on CS, and he just destroyed Peke.
That's kind of what I was just...
You're a wise man, Joe. You're very smart.
I'm a wise man. Don't go into Kerp right now. 4-0-2, 200 CS to his name, and looking very, very strong. Banshee's Veil's needed, I think, for Fnatic.
And it's very hard now for Fnatic to actually decide, do we want to Black Shield the one Kerp is trying to burst, or do we want to Black Shield the one being engaged on with all the CC from Jree? YellOwStaR, he's going to have to decide very fast, because when Kerp actually jumps in, we just saw how fast he can do it. And now,
yeah, need to do it on himself this time around. That one was a bit easier of a decision, I think, for YellOwStaR. Manages to live through it as well. Quite a lot thrown at him there from Millenium. No ultimates, though, in the end of the day. What's coming up next here? We've got a lot of wards down. Look at River covered in red and blue.
And look at the difference on support items, simply due to objective gold. 6 towers for Fnatic, 3 dragons as well. So we have Mikhails, and we also have the Talisman onto YellOwStaR compared to nothing over on Jree's side. And it really shows the difference in gold for these two teams.
And 10 assists that Fnatic, that YellOwStaR in
it helps as well.
Has from that one, definitely helps things out. If you look at the AD carry items, Bloodthirster for both, but there's a massive difference between them from there. Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper already done for Rekkles. On the other side for Creaton, he's not really got a lot. Okay, he's just finished the Trinity Force off now, but still a full item behind.
Yeah, while Fnatic is ahead in items, just by the fact we have Kerp being so strong at the moment, it actually doesn't feel like Fnatic can just walk down mid lane and just expect to win the next team fight. Because if Kerp can catch out a target, he will be able to burst them down, unless of course it's sOAZ. Because also, well, we have some magic resist now onto Elise, so he will be able to survive it first as well. But the rest, they will just die instantly.
Also a danger if a cocoon or the binding lands onto Kerp, he can pretty much kiss his time goodbye because Fnatic will be all over that, dive straight onto it.
Of course, I mean, Kerp, he needs to play perfect team fights, but if he's playing these perfectly, and we've seen how good he is on LeBlanc, he will actually be able to give Millenium a chance of a comeback.
Right now they're just behind by 2 kills, but that might change here and just be 1 because sOAZ, I'm afraid, underneath the turret is going down, uses Subjugate. Nice effect, nice and effective, but honestly didn't really win him that much in the end of the day. 12-11.
Yeah, ignore what I said earlier about Kerp not bursting down the tanks. That was very fast, combined with Kevin. But meanwhile, Fnatic are just pushing down the mid lane, and Rekkles, he's pushing down the bot lane.
Yeah, they've got to react to this one here, Millenium. Inner turret in the bottom lane's down, inner turret in mid, and top lane for that matter, are all down. So only the base of Millenium now really stands. And this is where that siege combo really starts to come into itself.
As long as they can shut down someone from Millenium, Kevin for instance, when he's split pushing here, they need to make sure they can shove him back first, and then they go down with all the people, start poking away. We do have the teleport now, going very aggressive on Kevin.
Yeah, he knows he's dead here, but he was trying to finish off the tower, and he didn't. It was, what, 17 health remaining on the tower. Unlucky, the satisfying sound of a Jax hammering away on a turret doesn't work out as YellOwStaR going to take a lot of burst. Can they finish off? He gets kicked away from the Cologne, which probably would have finished him off in the end. Either way, they get the turret, the second one of the game only for Millenium.
Yeah, they got the turret, got a small advantage here. Kevin did die, didn't get the turret up top, of course. But for Fnatic's side, the fact they actually have teleport on sOAZ, if he can hold himself 1 versus 1 against this Jax, the rest of Fnatic can then go down and start doing what a siege combo is doing. Standing at the turret, landing in spears, the Pillar or Peacemaker for Kerp, just trying to poke down Millenium all the time. But we'll see if they decide to do it, or they're more focused on something like a Baron, warding it up, trying to bait Millenium to come in there and then win in a team fight.
We saw earlier on Fnatic way ahead against the Super Hot crew. They played it very safely though in the end. We saw a very calculated finish for them. They don't need to risk anything. They're in a similar scenario here again. Play it safe, no risk, don't even risk having a L next to your name where it should be a W.
And that's actually been the style of European the Super Week. The very risk-free play we're seeing. We don't really see these rushed Barons where 5 members are alive on the other team and you just more or less hope your jungler can smite it. Okay, if you have Cyanide, sure, you can kind of do the tactic, but for the rest of the teams at least, we don't see that tactic anymore, and it's very smart. This time they do start it because also they have spotted 5 members of Millenium far away. Sorry. And yes, he fails the jump.
Hey, twice actually, but I'll let him off once again. Baron is down to less than half HP at this point. Rekkles using that Caitlyn range from the back to take him down. Millenium didn't even know it was happening.
And that was very, very smart move by Fnatic because again, they spotted the 5 members of Millenium down in their own jungle around the Wraith camp. Instantly, they just went on the Baron because they knew there was no vision due to them having the pink ward. Smart move and really taking advantage of the fact they had more vision than actually Millenium did.
And 27 minutes in, the Dragon's certainly worth a pretty penny as well. And this is going to put them, well, into an incontrollable, almost 10,000 gold lead. Although the kills are level and Millenium are setting up a trap. Who's going to be silly enough from Fnatic to walk
putting
over
the spider?
There? Is it going to be Cyanide? He's going to take the rates right next to them. Are they going to
wow,
go for it?
he took it and just standing there, man. Ouch.
Yeah. I think they were like, he's just going to repel anyway, so if we go on to him, we're probably going to lose track of him. And in the end, Fnatic are already pushing down this bottom lane, so Millenium have to rotate all the way around the back, get themselves in a position to try and defend, but more likely catch a load of spears.
It was a good move though, trying to set up a trap where they thought there was no vision, and just waiting for someone for Fnatic to go in there, but nobody face checked, and instead, doing what a siege combo can do here. firing away the spears. If we see 1 or 2 landing, they more or less force Millenium to go back to the base and heal.
And they have a heal of their own. Not only that Baron buff regenning them up there, they have that big Nidalee heal as well from xPeke, who's got the blue buff on as well at this point, which makes his life just that little bit more fun. And there is Araneae down to half HP. Will they die for it? They're going to go for the turret. Kevin jumps in there. Araneae taking another couple of hits.
Black Shield is on cooldown, so the time for Millenium to engage is actually within the next 15 seconds. They have to go back first with Araneae. Once he heals, if he got the home guard, he can return to the fight, and this is the time for them to engage.
Or possibly
Never
not
mind
anymore. Creaton down to less than half. There's another spear straight onto Araneae. Black Shield comes up. Cyanide to the front. They've caught Jree out. Are they going to be able to kill him? Ace in the hole goes through. Good kick back. There is the Solar Flare as well. But they're going to take down Araneae. That opens things up completely now for Fnatic. This inhibitor will fall. They've got a wave of minions. Will they try and win it?
And they're just in full control from Fnatic. We saw the Black Shield onto Rekkles. Jree wanted to engage, but he couldn't. And instead, spears landing and engage from Fnatic.
Those turrets do not last long. Jree's going to go right into the middle, but he's going to lose his life for it. Rekkles picks up that one. They're trying to finish off sOAZ. He falls very low. Gets away thanks to the Mikhails, and a big heal from Nidalee will surely win the game here from Fnatic. They go straight onto the Nexus and pick up a very, very impressive win over Millenium.
And that was such a dominant performance. They did so well in the early game. We had the double kill down in the bot lane for Rekkles. We had Cyanide making plays early on. And then with the poke combo, they just used the full advantage, took the Baron, took the dragons. Again, credit to Cyanide for getting all these dragons. And then when it really matters with the Nashor buff, they just went bot lane and pushing Millenium.
I have to say that is the 7-0 Fnatic that we've been seeing here this week. The win over Super Hot Crew, the win over Millenium. Just perfectly played. The Copenhagen Wolves game was close from them as well. It's not like they were destroyed in that one, but they're looking like a new team. That 0-for-8 run, which ended with a win against Gambit, has certainly given new life to Fnatic.
Yeah, and you couldn't do it more smooth than they did here. Again, got all the objectives. They had 6 towers when Millenium had 0, and also the lanes did well. So everything for Fnatic were working, and as soon as they picked up the Baron buff, they just said, you know what, we can close out this game with our combo. Let's go do it. And the Morgana pick with the Black Shield, we highlighted it a few times. Really useful for them. Very strong to stop the engages from Millenium. But also we gotta give credit to Kerp. He did his job. He tried to get the kills going for him and his team, and he really tried to keep them in this game. And
what worked in their advantage as well here, Fnatic, the fact that they got so far ahead in those global objectives gave them that crucible, which basically means that what Jree can throw at them is going to get cancelled out on the important players.
The only one who could actually do something was Kerp going in, trying to get the Black Shield on the target, and then Jree could try and engage. Mikhails would be popped, and then he would more or less have to flash in and stun them. And that's so many things you have to invest into just stunning one guy. It's never going to be worth it, and it's never really going to work for you.
And one thing we always have to talk about here is Rekkles' performance. He's been the real solid rock, even through the times where they were struggling and not winning at all for 8 games in a row, Fnatic. He was the one that was still performing, and in this game, they controlled that bottom lane from a very early start point.
Did a great job, especially the fight where it's actually Millenium going aggressive onto them. Then they turned around, YellOwStaR, good bindings, flashes away from Jree, binds Creaton, Rekkles comes in, picks up the double kill. That fight was really the turning point in the lane, and also the fact they had so much aggression early on, so they got the CS lead. So Rekkles, he was just doing a good job, and of course YellOwStaR was doing a very good job.
And for Millenium, we have to touch on them because they're obviously bottom of the table here. They picked up such a good win against Roccat in their game yesterday, the last game that they played. They lost to SK Gaming. That wasn't, even for them, wasn't that bad of a game, if I remember rightly. So some things are obviously going right here for Millenium. They've still got the Alliance and the Super Hot Crew to be playing a little bit later on. So the chance is still there for them.
Definitely, and I even think this game, it wasn't bad by Millenium. It was just very well played by Fnatic. Cyanide was always a step ahead of Araneae with the ganks, obviously we're starting the Dragon. And then in general, Fnatic just did so well on the map, rotating around, getting all the objectives, so there wasn't really anything for Millenium to do once they fell behind early. So I wouldn't say it was them playing bad, I was just saying Fnatic was just playing fantastic. Yeah,
and we saw one real big example of that when Araneae tried to make something happen and just got flashed away from, actually, by xPeke.
Yeah, the mid-game fight was where we saw the combo in work for Fnatic with counter-engaging, disengaging, and then the good flash from xPeke to avoid the kick from Araneae. And he just turned it around from there, landed the CC, killed him, killed the next target. Kevin jumped in, he died as well. In the end, xPeke did go down to Kerp, but they still got the turret and 3 kills, so definitely worth it.
Well, 2-game winning streak for Fnatic coming in. That certainly will please